Our wedding anniversary was supposed to be a night of celebration, a reminder of love, of vows, of the life we had built together. I had carefully chosen the restaurant, arranged for my best friend to come by with her little girl to surprise us with cake afterward, and dressed in the blue dress my husband once said was his favorite. I never imagined that in one innocent moment, with one single word, my entire world would collapse. It happened so fast. The waiter had just placed dessert in front of us when my best friend, Clara, arrived with her 3-year-old daughter, Mia. I was delighted. Mia was like family to me, and I thought her presence would only add to the joy of the evening. She climbed into her mother's lap, grinning shyly, then turned to look at my husband. And that's when it happened. With bright eyes and a giggle, she pointed at him and said, "Daddy." The restaurant went quiet in my mind. My fork clattered to the plate. At first, I laughed nervously, thinking it was just a slip of a toddler's tongue. But then I saw Clara's face drain of color, her eyes flicking to my husband with panic. And worst of all, I saw the look on his face. Not shock, not confusion, but something closer to fear, guilt, and resignation. My heart thundered. Why would she say that? I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. Clara stammered, "Kids say funny things sometimes, don't they?" But Mia wasn't confused. She reached toward him again, smiling. "Daddy," she repeated, louder this time, as though she knew him deeply. I stared at my husband, the man I had trusted for years, the man I believed would never betray me. His eyes wouldn't meet mine. My chest tightened, and 1,000 puzzle pieces clicked into place. His late nights at work, the unexplained absences, the times he said he was helping a friend. All along, that friend had been Clara. My best friend. I stood so abruptly that the chair scraped loudly against the floor. "Tell me the truth," I demanded, my voice shaking. Clara whispered, "Please, let's talk privately." But I couldn't hold back. "Is she his child?" I asked, pointing at the little girl who was now looking between us with innocent confusion. The silence was deafening, and then my husband finally spoke, his words heavy and devastating, "Yes." I felt the air leave my lungs. The ground beneath me no longer felt solid. My best friend, the woman I had leaned on for advice, laughter, and comfort, had been carrying my husband's child for years. And my husband, the man I built a home and future with, had not only betrayed me, but hidden a secret family in plain sight. The night ended in chaos. I left the restaurant without looking back, ignoring their desperate calls. At home, I locked myself in the bedroom, shaking with rage and heartbreak. I replayed every memory in my head, every anniversary, every smile, every "I love you." Had all of it been a lie? Or had there been truth once, before betrayal seeped into everything? The days that followed were a blur. Clara tried to call, to explain, but I couldn't bring myself to hear her voice. My husband begged to talk, claiming it was a mistake, claiming he didn't know how to end it once it started. But what excuse could ever justify destroying 2 lives at once? My marriage, my friendship, both shattered beyond repair. The hardest part was deciding how to move forward. Anger burned in me like fire, but beneath it was grief, a grief so heavy it nearly suffocated me. Nights were the worst, lying awake in an empty bed that used to feel like home. But slowly, I realized something. As much as their betrayal had broken me, it also freed me. I didn't have to live in lies anymore. I didn't have to settle for half-truths and broken promises. For the first time in years, I began to live for myself. I found comfort in small routines, morning walks, journaling, rediscovering old hobbies. I leaned on my family, who reminded me that I was stronger than I thought. I began therapy, where I unpacked not just the betrayal, but the deeper truth. I had ignored red flags for too long, hoping love would be enough to fix everything. Months later, when the divorce papers were finalized, I stood outside the courthouse feeling a strange mix of sadness and relief. Clara was no longer in my life, and though the wound of her betrayal still stung, I was no longer bleeding. I was healing. And one day, as I sat in the park watching the sunset, I thought of Mia. None of this was her fault. She was just a child, innocent in every way. The betrayal belonged to the adults, not her. For the first time, I felt a surge of compassion instead of anger. I knew I could never forgive my husband or Clara, but I refused to let bitterness harden my heart forever. Today, I stand stronger. My marriage didn't end the way I dreamed, and my best friend is gone, but I survived something I once thought would destroy me. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: betrayal may break your heart, but it doesn't have to break you. You can rebuild. You can start again. And sometimes, the end of one chapter is the beginning of the story you were always meant to write.